Okay, so we are here and you all can see we have covered this login part for the admin side. So now the very first page on the admin side will create the add category page. Okay, so we are building e-commerce website here, and for the yoga I have choose the topic. You can choose like for like for furniture, for watches, for sportswear, for clothing. So of course in all this zones we have got the categories. Like for furniture we have categories like sofa, chairs, bed, like that. For watches you will be having category like steel watches, belt watches, and etc, something like that. For clothing also. So the very first thing before we start with products, okay, we have to add categories. So here I'll be creating the first page for the admin side, that is add category. So in this video I'll design the form and I'll create the table accordingly, and in the next part we'll code for it. So let's see. So the very first page I want to have here add category page. So let's minimize this, go to VS Studio and right click on the master page, click on add content page. So here the content placeholder, I just made a slight change here in the master page. Let me show you what I have done. This content placeholder was outside basically. Okay, I have placed this content placeholder inside this row tag. Why is it so? Because you want to have the content just beside this panel, otherwise it will come down here. Okay, so kindly see to it, like inside this div row tag row content only. Okay, in the last we have this content placeholder. Great. Let's go to this web form, which the page I've created. I'll just rename this quickly. Let's rename it to add category, then click on here. Now the very first thing I want to have like center tag. Okay, so everything should be placed in the center here, and our information something like this is add category page. Okay, now let's open the toolbox. Even you can design this page using the tables, but let's try to do it directly here. So I want to have a like category name here first. The very first thing I want to have a category name, and for that I'll ask user or admin to write the category name in the text box. Okay, so I'll rename this, rename the ID of this text box as txt cat name. Okay, then after name I want to upload the images also. Okay, so for that I want to have a control called file upload. Okay, so I'll just rename it like category upload. So what I've done here, I've downloaded certain images here. I'll show you. You can also decide it in advance, like what all categories you want to have in your own, like in your project, and accordingly start acting on it. So let me show you for my yoga project I started like thinking in this manner, like I will have the category called bottles, then pants, then t-shirts, and yoga mat. Okay, so different categories can be there. So the hierarchy will remain a very simple hierarchy, like we will be having categories, and inside category will be having products. Okay, so let's not complicate it. One category, inside category will be having products. So I'll be having 4 categories here, like yoga mat, t-shirts, pants, and bottles, something like this. So let me minimize this and come back to this code, and then after file upload, the image I'll be selecting for the category, and after that I want to have a submit button here. So let me choose the button here, and I'll just rename it btn submit. Okay, and textual data will be like submit, and then enter. And one more control I want to have is label. Okay, to display the message. So let it be blank, and let the ID be LBL MSG label message. Okay, so in total I have actually placed four controls: text box, file upload, button and label here. And I'll write the like upload your file here, upload file here. Okay, so now let me see this page. Let me view in browser. Even in this page load also, like for this page also, in the page load function you can have the same code which you have written for the welcome admin, so that it should ask you first to log in for the admin side. Okay, so this is the category name, and upload here, file here, and then choose file and submit button have been placed. Okay, so let me just design it properly. So we can have break tag, then after this again break, and for button, I hope you all remember we had defined the class CSS class for buttons. You can directly go to the login page and check the CSS class for button was button only. Okay, so let's copy this, and for the text box, CSS class was text box, txt box. So I'll use the same CSS code here also, like CSS class for button will be, so it should give me the suggestion for button, I guess. If it does not, we'll see what can be done. And for text box, CSS class will be equal to txt box, and then save it. Now save this and let me run it. Okay, so what we are able to see here, still things are not arranged properly. Okay, and text box have not been changed, even button code have not been changed. The reason is this CSS class, okay, that button and txt box are not accessible here. It is there in the CSS folder, right? CSS folder is in style.css. In the last we have written this code. Let me show you. Here it is. Okay, but we have not given the reference in the master page. So what we can do, we can go to the master page here. Okay, and in the head tag, after this, we can just drag and drop this. So we're giving the reference of this style sheet. Okay, so once we place the reference in the master page, so of course all the content pages will get the style.css reference, right? So let me close all the irrelevant files here. Coming back to and let me run this. Okay, something has been wrong, like this text box size of the text box, you all can see it is taking 100% of the width. Okay, maybe the reason that same the code we had. So what we can do, we can make a slight change here. We can, you know, just ignore this CSS class for a while and save it and then run it. See, you will have to do R&D and make the changes, and you will come to know like what things, like how the things are working. So this is the add category page. Category name you have to submit here, upload file here, and then this is the file we have to select from this control and then click on the submit button. Even you can see like upload file is not coming properly here. It should be like beside this. Okay, so for that you can have table into place. So let me do it quickly. Okay, so that you should get comfortable with this. So let me place a mouse, let me go to the design, and here this table tag, table option, insert table. So how many rows I want, I can select how many rows, like somewhere around like 6 to 7 rows, and then click on okay, having 2 columns, right? Going to source, now we have this code. So accordingly start placing the control. Now I want to have this add category page somewhere like in top. Okay, and then category name, from here, placing it here in this cell. Okay, and just beside it I'm placing this text box control in the another cell. Okay, and then leaving the one row, okay, for the spacing part. Going to this row, and then I'll just mention here the upload file here, and then this control, file upload control, will go beside the Excel here. Okay, then just remove this. This is not necessary now. And button we want to have, then leave one more row here, and then place the button in the second column so it will be placed properly. And same goes for the label. Use the table approach so that form looks neat and tidy. Save this and let me view it. So I've just showed like without table how the form will look like, and if you use table properly it should be placed something like this. So here we can see category name, upload file here, choose no file, and then submit. All things have been placed. So what is wrong, why it is coming down there? Okay, so let me see what we can do. Let's remove this class, okay, table, and let me try to view it again. So now this time is proper, right? So category name I have to mention, then choose file, I have to choose the image file, and then submit. Okay, so we can go ahead. Before we do that, one more thing we have to work on is like table. Okay, we have to work on table, right? So let's create a table. Table will be having two columns for the category name and second for the category image. Okay, where the URL of the image will get stored. So let's minimize this. Come to project. Okay, we want to have images section here separately. So let me create like I'm right clicking on project, I'll click on add, and then I'll select new folder. Okay, so I'll just say images, and inside cannot add a link to the folder images. There is already a file. Okay, so images folder is already there, so I'll be like, okay, project images. Okay, so basically this image folder have all the images for the from the template side, right? So I'll write project images as a name for the folder, and inside it I'll create one more folder, creating bifurcation properly, so I'll write category. So category images will be stored in this folder. Okay, this is what I want. So after designing, I've created the folder here, project images. Now let me go to the server explorer. We'll go to the database now. Now from here only I'll create a table. Okay, no need to open SQL Server Management Studio. Even if you can do that, not a problem. So I'll just click on tables. So there is only one table here, sign up. Now I'll create one more table like. So right click on it, add new table. So the problem from here, I'll show you what is the problem. I would recommend like you should not create a table from here. You can do that, but you don't get many other options of controlling. So let me open the SQL Server Management Studio for you all. Open the databases. Go to YogaDB. Right click on it, new table. So the first column will be category ID, cat ID. Okay, and data type will remain for it int. can start typing int. Okay, and then next will be like category name, cat name, okay, short form. And then you can have varchar 50, and the last column will be like category image. So we'll be storing the image here in form of URL. Okay, and you will understand why URL, why not completely image here. Later on you will understand. Okay, it will clear all your doubts. So let it be like this. So it should be like varchar, let's give a maximum size like 100, or you can give 200 to 50, it doesn't matter. Okay, varchar 100 character it can store. So with the top power I was talking about this category ID. Okay, I'll declare it as a primary key first, setting as a primary key, and coming here in the column properties I've selected category ID. Scroll down, go to identity specification. We have done it for the sign up table also, if you remember. Okay, go here, is identity, say yes, and it will say okay, the increment will start from 1 and identity set will be 1. You can change this also, like it should increment by 1 of course, and it should start by like category something like start by 700. So the very first category it will take 700, and then it start incrementing by 701, 702, 703, something like this. Okay, so this is the power I was talking about. So let's save this with the name called category, and then okay. So you all can see we are matching this table with the form. So category name will go here, and category image will go here, and category ID will get generated automatically. So in the next video we'll see the coding part.
That's all guys from this video. If you really like this video, press like button and do subscribe to our channel. If any queries or suggestions, do comment below. For more such updates, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.